What's up, fam? As y'all know, we taking a little break from the normal W podcast. We still got great content, don't worry. But Baby Wheels has been born. You want to see a picture? Boop. Yeah. That's my son, y'all. Ain't he cute? Sheesh. But God is so good. Mom is doing well. She's super healthy. Baby is healthy. And as we take these next few weeks to recover, we'll be doing our pre-recorded videos that we did for y'all because we still got that heat. Don't get it twisted. So stay tuned. The W podcast starts.
What's up, fam? Welcome back to the We Are Just Dating page. My name is Tim. This is my beautiful wife, Pauline, and we're excited because we got a great question. If you don't know, every Tuesday we answer your anonymous questions that you can send to us, and you can put that in the bio that we have. So go ahead, put any question you have with relationships. We would love to answer it. We got a fun question today, and I think it's going to be a question a lot of you guys get value from, because it can be a little confusing. What does it mean to do this and do that? What am I talking about? You going to go ahead and get into that.
Yeah, look preview. Okay, today's question is, what does the transition from dating to engagement and then from engagement to marriage look like? It's really two questions.
Yeah, but good question though. Essentially, like, what's the difference between each stage of a relationship? When you start dating, when you're engaged, and when you're married? Maybe this person, because we don't know, but maybe they're like, I don't really see the difference in them. Because some people don't see a difference between dating and marriage.
They could say, what should I look forward to? Or like, what should I expect in those transitions?
Yeah, so all three are very different. I'll let Pauline go first, because I'm going to share at the end what the key differences are in each stage. But Pauline has a lot of good stuff to say as well.
Yeah, this is a really good question. I will say it varies for every single person and every single couple. I think me and Tim's perspective of our transitions through those stages is different, even though, of course, we're in the same relationship. I think girls, care a lot more about the wedding planning and things like that more than guys do. So it may be more stressful for women when you're engaged than it is for men. Or it could be different. So, and it depends, cultural differences, all those different things. I can share a little bit about what our transition was like from dating to engagement. It was a little bit anxious for me because I did not know exactly like when we were going to get engaged, but that's the point, right? It's supposed to be a surprise. So, and I'm a really big planner for those of you guys who know me, and I was kind of like...
Now, can you just be specific? You didn't know the exact day. You had an idea of like what season.
Yeah, we had talked about it. I knew that he had to go talk to my parents. Like, I knew it was going to happen soon, but I thought it was going to happen on like 4th of July, and it didn't. And then like...
She was hot!
Yeah,
the fireworks was going off, and she was pissed!
I was trying to figure out like, when should I get my hair done? When should I get my nails done? All those different things. And I just had let it go, and it like... Because it was too much. It was consuming too much of my mind. But then Tim, surprised me, but I was surprised for sure because I wasn't all that put together on that day, but it was
I tried.
Worth the surprise.
That's a different story for another day.
It is. So if that's you, that may be something that happens where you're, and we definitely don't encourage people to like propose unless that person is going to say yes. But that can kind of cause some anxiety if you're somebody like me where you're like, okay, well, I want to make sure I look my best on this date. And it depends because some couples do very casual proposals where like they're wearing sweats and they're going for a walk or whatever. And that's what it is. Or it's at like, you're already at a very...
Whatever you want is cool.
Yeah, every couple is different. So I didn't really know what Tim was going to do for us because I don't think we really lean one way or the other. But anyways, that was a little bit what it was like for me, transitioning from dating to engagement. And then we actually chose to fast for the week after we got engaged.
I forgot about that.
Never forget. And I'm really glad we did that because we wanted to just make sure we had a posture of like worship towards God and that we wouldn't idolize, wedding planning or marriage or anything like that. And there's, a flood of questions. When's your date? When's this? When that? All these different things. And we just wanted to make sure that we started off the engagement season of our relationship keeping God first, because we knew that when we did that everything would be okay. We knew, of course, like, you know, we didn't really have money for a wedding, and we didn't really know. We wanted to have a wedding, of course, and we didn't really know how everything was going to work out. So we needed God, and we invited him into our engagement process in the beginning. And then we also took some time to just like a week or two to just not even talk about wedding planning. We just really kind of enjoyed being engaged.
Which was advice we got from my mentor.
Yeah, and I'm so glad we did that, because like once you start wedding planning, it doesn't stop. So we just got to really like, you know, enjoy each other, enjoy just the surprise, and just the like, I know Tim was super relieved that after it was over, because he was holding a lot of secrets from me.
It's trying to be stressful.
Yeah.
Y'all women don't understand.
And he's just like, I'm so glad I don't have to keep anything else from you for the rest of my life. That's not true. He's going to throw me another surprise party one day. But, so yeah, so that was a little bit about what our transition was from dating to engagement, and then from engagement to marriage. It's even more stressful, because we had moved into our apartment. Well, Tim moved before I did, but I moved my stuff like a week before the wedding. We had done pre-marriage counseling. We had done counseling with our church. We had, you know, you're figuring out different family dynamics and all those different things. And I think that it can be a lot. But then I know one thing that really got me through the last couple of weeks of our engagement time leading up to the wedding. And I also was in a friend's wedding 3 weeks before our wedding, and we had another wedding to attend before that as well. So it was just a lot going on. I was about to start a new job. It was a lot of transition going on, because also Tim had graduated like 2 months before we had gotten engaged. So that was another transition that was happening. He was transitioning into like corporate world, and so.
Well, that was a whole year before that, so not really. That wasn't really.
I'm saying the transition from dating to engagement.
But you already switched to.
I did. I'm sorry. Anyway, so So it was just a really busy time. It was one of those times where like we had a lot to do, but I just didn't think about it. It was like, we gotta just get this done. Like, let's just not analyze it and think about how tired I am or how stressed I am. Just have to get this stuff done. Because you're doing two major things when you are getting married. You're moving to a new place, which is stressful, but then you're also planning a wedding, which is stressful. So that was another thing that was happening. But at the same time, the engagement process, like Tim's mentor again, like he really gave us good perspective, saying like, this is your first big project that you guys are working on together as far as planning this wedding. And Tim was extremely hands-on. We had like wedding meetings. In the beginning, we had an 11-month long engagement. I think the first 6 months we maybe did like a wedding planning meeting like once a month, and then when it got closer, we were up to like every week planning for our wedding.
I don't want to do a wedding planning ever again.
It's a lot. Well, you probably can hire somebody, but we didn't have a wedding planner because we couldn't afford one. We did it.
But be encouraged if you're going through it. You can do it.
We had a day of coordinator, but also, you know, like God had come through in an incredible way. Like we got to have our dream wedding for without any debt. So many people had come alongside us and paid for the caterer, paid for the venue, paid for my parents paid for my dress. Like there's so many different things like that the Lord had just come through. I had the most amazing bridal shower that my bridesmaids had thrown for me. Like there's so many ways. Even the apartment that we got was above what we were praying for as far as like space and like what we could afford and things like that. So God had it really challenged and grows your faith to be in kind of a hard pressed situation. So engagement, it does test you, but it's supposed to as well, because you know this is kind of your last trial run before you guys get married. Because as you do when you're married, you're partners together. You guys do hard things together. You fight together. So this is engagement is that time to kind of take that same approach. So if you're a guy, definitely don't check out of the wedding planning process. This is your wedding too. Don't just be like, what do I wear and where do I show up? Like absolutely not. Support your partner, support your fiance. And then if you're a girl, and your fiance is like, oh, I want to like come to this meeting or be involved with this, like let him. Don't push him away, because that's how you're cowering him as a leader. So don't do that. Like allow him to come and he can tell you like, we don't need to pay $500 for napkins. Like no, that's unnecessary. And because, you know, a wedding is beautiful, but it's one day. And depending on what your budget is, like, because engagement also is interesting, that transition, because you're talking about money a lot more than you did when you were dating. And it's good because money is a big part of marriage as well. And like, we had to make a budget for our wedding, and you know, how much could we afford? Had to get creative, given what our budget was and things like that. And so that's an awesome opportunity that you have during the engagement season. As well. But as I said, you know, like, we were in the midst of premarital counseling, which was really good for us as well. We encourage everybody to do that. You really shouldn't get married without doing premarital counseling. We also, you know, of course, we're involving more family in different decisions, which can be fun, and getting to know them on that level, because some families care about certain cultural traditions or rituals or things like that. I don't know. You know, it just depends on the family, and involving people and things, and guest lists and seating arrangements and all those different things that you have to go through. But I would just say one thing that helped us, that my mentor encouraged us with, was like, just pick 3 things. And if you're a girl, especially, or you're the girl, during your engagement or wedding planning process, that you want. So if you're like, I really want a bomb dress, and I really want an awesome photographer, and I want a really great DJ, and like, pick those 3 things, and then like, let everything else kind of just happen. Like, let it just be. You can't have a great venue, a great photographer, you can't have a great everything. Like, weddings are too expensive. And it's, even if you can't afford it, you can probably put that money towards like a down payment on a house or a car or a honeymoon or something else. So you don't need to break the bank for a wedding. So I would just pick 3 things each that you guys both like, and I want to put my money towards this, and then just kind of let everything else fall to the wayside. And that eliminates a lot of stress, and hopefully less arguments for you guys as well. But yeah, you really get to know each other, of course, like, and this is more the answer to like the transition from engagement to marriage. You really get to know somebody when you live with them. And one of the most encouraging things for me, because sometimes I guess I felt like the engagement process was going fast, and I was like, okay, like, we have this, and we have the bachelorette, and then we have the wedding, and then, or we have the rehearsal, then we have the wedding, and then we have this, and we have that. But like, one thing that made me really excited was knowing, like, wow, okay, because people always tell you, like, the wedding day goes by so fast. Make sure you eat, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, like, savor the moment. And like, you do it as much as you can, but, you know, 12 hours of a wedding, or like 24 hours of the whole day is gonna go by. But one thing that really encouraged me was like, knowing like, wow, after the wedding, then like, I get to be with Tim. Like, we don't have to say goodbye. We get to go to our honeymoon, and then we get to come home together and like start our lives together. And like, that was really, really exciting for me to think about. It's not, the wedding is just an event, but it's an event that's like kicking off a marathon for the rest of our lives. So I was super, super encouraged by that. And hopefully that, you know, gives you something to look forward to if you're stressed at all during those transitions.
Yeah, that was good. So I'll just add on to that, my perspective of like, what's the difference between dating, engagement, and marriage. And I'll say this: dating is the evaluation stage. You may have heard us say that before. Dating is when you're evaluating, is this the person I should marry? Do I like the way they talk to me? Do I like the way they talk to others? Do I like their ambitions and their goals and their dreams for their life? You know, if you're a woman, can I submit to this man? Is this someone that I value?
Yeah,
can he lead me?
Right.
If you're a man, is this someone that is going to submit, or is this someone that has her own plan? She's not just looking for me to carry everything, but she has her own plan and purpose and wants to carry that out.
She has to offer,
Yeah. So that's really the biggest thing in dating. That's what you're looking at. And then for engagement, that's what I like to call the closing stage. So think about when you're trying to buy a home, when you're about to go and close on a home. You haven't bought it yet. You're probably pretty convinced that you're going to buy it.
Yeah, you made
everything seems like it's going to work out, but there's still a few things you're checking on before you put that closing payment down to make it official.
Yeah.
And that's really what engagement is like. Just like buying a house, engagement is when you're checking everything out again. So you evaluated in dating and you think that everything's right, and that's why you put a ring on it. But now you're going through premarital counseling and you're learning, okay, what does this person think about church or values or Christianity? Well, how many kids do they want? How do they view money? You're thinking about different things that are going to be a big factor in your marriage, and you're talking about them. And in this closing stage, you're figuring out, is this a
Whatever
person
they
that I
wanna
want to
do,
close
yeah.
with? Do I want to live a life with them? Do we agree on everything? And that's really what you're doing. And that you want to do that same way you don't put money down on a closing stage if everything doesn't turn out with the house. You're not going to put that second ring down on the finger if everything doesn't turn out in engagement. And that's okay.
It's better for you to pull out early than be divorced later.
Yes, much better to have a broken engagement, as heartbreaking as that is, than have a divorce. And then marriage, that's what we call the growing stage. So that's where you get to grow together. You're everything you think you learned in dating and engagement, low key is wrong, which is so weird, right? But when you get married, things about you are revealed that you don't even know about yourself. So you were being authentic and you were being real before you got married, but then once you get married, there's just something about marriage that highlights everything in your heart, in your mind, and it comes to fruition in ways that you were not expecting. And your partner is like, yo, I didn't know you acted like this when this happens. So
you're like, I didn't know either. I never been in this situation.
Right. So marriage can bring out a lot of things. So that's why you want to make sure you're with somebody that you're willing to go through that growing stage with. You're going to grow together when people get new jobs, when people lose family members, when you have babies together. That's going to change things. So those are all things that happen within that growing stage. So that's what I would say. The difference between dating, engagement, and marriage are those three things. Dating is evaluation, engagement is closing, and marriage is growing. So we hope that was helpful. This was Question of the Day. We love you, and we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.